sessions. So we'll just pretend that it is 9 o'clock right now. So I am seeing this group right here. So I'll go ahead. So I'm going to put that Rachel is present, Ross is present, but Monica is absent today. This logged part comes in later after the session. So during the session, let's say, so this is pretty much an RTIC group. So a lot of my RTIC, I don't take data the whole session. I usually take it at the end as kind of like after the teaching part of my session. I kind of go through and then take some data on their accuracy. I still try and aim for that, really a decent amount, like 50 productions, especially in a 30-minute session, could get up to 100 productions. But I'm not taking data on all of that. As you can see, that would never fit in the box, but also I feel like taking data that amount would be pretty distracting to the kids and to me. So I usually will take data towards the end on just some words or sentences, maybe 10 or so, just to kind of get a general picture or glimpse as to how they're doing. So generally my data tracking system goes as follows. A plus is correct, minus is totally incorrect. I might do an A for approximation, or a P for a prompt. Sometimes I'll circle it. That means like a moderate prompting versus P without is just like a minimal Q. And so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's say we have that for simplicity's sake. And then the same for these, let's say, so this student just has initial L blends, but this student, Marcel is the teacher, Ross, has 2 different sounds that they're working on. So generally it depends. A 30-minute session, I might target both, but let's say for the sake of this that I'm just targeting one. So usually I'll circle which one I'm like actively working on, just saves room. And then I go ahead, just let's say they had an awesome day, they needed a prompt, but overall they did really good. And then again, this is S blends at the syllable level, but let's say they are really struggling with the syllable level that day. So I'm going to cross that out and just put at the isolation, and usually I'll just kind of put it short. And then let's say I end up taking data on isolation. They're doing pretty good, need a prompt, they have an approximate, but that's their data. So after this is all done, usually what I'll do is I'll go through and kind of total up and figure out their percentage. So this student got, and it's easy because it's out of 10, but usually I'll have a calculator, something like that. So they got 60%, this student was at 90%, and this student was at 80%. So then I have a nice, indicator of how they did that day. And then over here, so let's say usually I log, I try and log at least like 2 or 3 times throughout the day just to stay caught up. But let's say I am logging in a binder of some kind. You might have like a separate sheet that you go through and just put the accuracy levels and the specific thing you targeted. So you might put L blends at sentence level 60% accuracy, or word level, whatever you might be doing, just because that might be a way for you to more clearly see their data and to see one student at a time. Or let's say you have to log in Medicaid for some students. So let's say this student you don't need to log, but this student you do. So literally all I do is once I log it wherever I need to do it, check mark, check mark, check mark. And even for the student that's absent, check mark and check mark that I logged that they were absent. That's literally all I put in those boxes, but it's nice because I can really easily see if I've logged or not, versus being like, oh crap, did I log? Did I not log? I can't remember. I can just see it really clearly right there. That, oh, yep, I've logged, they're good to go really easily. So let's say this session, for whatever reason, didn't start until 10. I can easily add in there, okay, so they actually were seen from 10 to 10:20, just so, again, it's a nice record of that. And then when I go to log, if you're logging the times, you can easily look and be like, oh, they weren't their usual 9:40 to 10, so I'm going to log that they were seen from 10 to 10:20. But let's say So they were present, logged. But then going down to these students down here, let's say that they were both so they're kindergarten and second grade. Let's say kindergarten and second grade was having an assembly during this hour. So they were both present, but I'm going to put assembly and assembly because I wasn't able to see them. And then I logged that they were unavailable. I couldn't see them during that time because of school assembly. But on the other hand, let's say they were in an assembly during this time, this 10:30 to 10:50. I end up seeing them from 2:30 to 2:50. Sometimes I'll even just put that. So then I'll just put P as in they were present for this different date. You could even note that schedule was changed. I don't do a whole lot if I'm doing an evaluation because all of my data, all of my kind of observations I put on a separate form, but you could definitely, like I talked about, put like some kind of checklist here. So let's say you want to do the Goldman-Fristow this session, so you just check it off, or you want to add a different time, or you want to make some observations or comments right here and then transfer them to another form someplace else. Also super easy to do.